Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the monthly Q&A video on this October 2024. This is the series where you can submit questions about life, hobbies, wrestling, whatever it is that you want. So if you'd like to have your question featured in next month's Q&A video, make sure that you follow me on X because that's where you can submit your questions once a month. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring that bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I know you're going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, folks, let's get to your questions. What is my Mount Rushmore of professional athletes? So the wrestling mark in me wants to put in a professional wrestler or two in here, but I won't. I'm going to keep it to just traditional sports. As a Canadian, I got to have Wayne Gretzky. I mean, when you look at his numbers, there is no one even close to what this man has accomplished. It's actually insane. When it comes to world football, look, I know this is going to create a debate. I'm a Messi guy. I know that people are going to be up in arms because I didn't pick Ronaldo. I think that Messi is better. When it comes to basketball, I'll go Michael Jordan, and I guess I'll give you a American football one. Let's go with Tom Brady. That guy, I hate him, I despise him, but he just always seems to win, and I feel like that's a reason why you should put somebody on Mount Rushmore of anything. What was your favorite ever SummerSlam moment? I'll go with just in general the existence of SummerSlam 2002 because it's the first WWE premium live event that I was able to buy because we didn't have a network that we could get every single PLE for a cheap price. You had to pay like $80 every single month for an individual WWE pay-per-view, as they were called back then. And SummerSlam 2002 was the first pay-per-view that my family allowed me to purchase with birthday money that I had accumulated. So it always holds a spot near and dear to my heart. On top of that, it's like an objectively amazing show. So many people say that SummerSlam 2002 is up there, if not the greatest SummerSlam of all time. But as an extra one, I'll toss in being live to witness the debut and the entrance of The Fiend in SummerSlam 2019 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. That thing will forever stick with me. I'll never forget that entrance. Are you planning on going to WrestleMania next year? The answer is technically no, but I might still be able to go. It's still kind of up in the air. If I'm going on my own dime as a fan, the answer is likely no. I don't think that I can afford it. WrestleMania is already an expensive thing, but WrestleMania in Las Vegas is even more expensive. I've already seen some of the ticket prices. I've heard obviously that front row seats are $50,000. I would never get front row seats regardless, but that is a major price increase from the previous WrestleMania's front row seats. So I foresee that just tickets in general for WrestleMania 41 are going to be ludicrously expensive because one, it's in Las Vegas, two, WrestleMania is super hot, and three, they can because they keep selling out. It's the hottest ticket in town. So WrestleMania is going to be super expensive. The existing of myself in Las Vegas would also be super expensive because hotels in Vegas are already really expensive. Getting around in Vegas is super expensive. So it would be a major financial decision to make to go to WrestleMania 41. That being said, I'm hoping that I'm able to leverage being a YouTuber and maybe landing a sponsorship that sends me to WrestleMania 40 in exchange for making content for a brand. Because if that's the case, Poppy's willing to sell himself out to get to see John Cena's last WrestleMania 41 match. All right, if you're a sponsor and you're watching this and you want to send me to WrestleMania 41 to make content for whatever product it is that you want me to shill, baby, I'll do it. What's something you doubted would work, but when it did, it was a blessing? I'll keep this to something professional. Like starting the Patreon just kind of seemed like a crazy thing that I didn't think would ever work. But right now, the Patreon, like as a business vertical for myself, is incredibly important in terms of having stability and being able to do this as a full-time creator because the YouTube revenue is up, down. You never know what you're gonna get. But at the very least, having the Patreon allows me to supplement my income and allows me to be more self-assured that I'm gonna be able to do this as a full-time creator month over month. So I'm shocked that the Patreon has worked. I'm incredibly pleased how popular it's become in the community that's being built over there on Patreon. But let me tell you, like, it's the Patreon that allows me to do this as often as I do. Just saying. Do you see Randy versus Cody at SummerSlam and main eventing night 2 at MetLife? I do, but I also see this as a totally worthy WrestleMania match. If it wasn't for the existence of the potential of The Rock versus Roman Reigns, Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes is absolutely capable of main eventing night 2 of WrestleMania based on the star power and based on the story that these two could tell, based on the lore that we have between these two. But of course, when The Rock and the final boss and the tribal chief Roman Reigns exist, if that's a possibility, that's obviously what I think would main event night 2 of WrestleMania. WrestleMania. So if the other best option is night 2 of SummerSlam, I would love to see Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes there. We clearly know that we are in like the first stages of this story, starting off with what's going on with Kevin Owens, Randy, and Cody Rhodes at the moment. I do feel like the end game there in that particular threesome that's going on is Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton at one of the 2 major shows. But don't discount it being a WrestleMania this year. I really think it's got the potential to be a WrestleMania main event. Will you include reviews of AEW or TNA in your Patreon? So this would really be looking forward into the future. If the Patreon continues to grow, then we should, in theory, be able to bring in more hands and more people to deliver more content to the Patreon. So that would be hiring somebody to just take care of doing an AEW review or maybe an AEW centric podcast, just like hiring somebody for TNA reviews, etc. It would just require time. It would require finding the right person and the right business partner to do that with. And it would require the Patreon just getting bigger. But the whole brand as a whole, wrestling is cool. Like it could get to something like that where it's a team of people delivering content about different pockets of the world of professional wrestling, because my expertise, and I'm not ashamed of it, is WWE, and that goes for Sancho as well. Who do you think will win a world title first, Dominic Mysterio or Obafemi? I think it is going to be Obafemi, but don't discount the possibility of Dominic Mysterio at some point hoisting a world title. He can be that like manipulative, evil, weaselly little heel that could have a short little title reign that could be this really just annoying world champion, the likes that we really haven't seen in a long time. I think that he could be a world champion, but meanwhile, I look at Obafemi and I know that's a world champion. Obafemi is due for several world title runs, in my opinion, when he actually gets to the main roster. Thoughts on the current state of the WWE product under Triple H? What are some of his best and worst moments? I mean, the state is amazing. It's the best that it's ever been. There are highs and there are lows, certainly, but even the lows are still significantly more high than the lows that we had in the 2010s. Anybody that complains about Triple H, I mean, of course, there's been warranted mistakes that he's made, but I'm telling you, like if you were around for the 2010s, what we have right now is a blessing, even when they make bad decisions. In terms of his best moments, I have to go to WrestleMania 40. How many times did we use the analogy, can Triple H land the plane? God damn it. Plane landed is what he did at WrestleMania 40. And then his worst moment, like in terms of booking, I guess I gotta go with Money in the Bank and how they just basically threw away the whole concept of the men's Money in the Bank briefcase to build up CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, a feud that just frankly didn't need that extra heat because it was already at a devil's scorching hot. What are you hoping happens when Raw goes to Netflix? Do you want them to go extreme like some people want, or do you want them to ease into it? I'm personally not looking for wrestling and WWE to get more violent and more extreme simply because it goes to Netflix, because I do believe that violence works at its best when it's not always available, when it's a few and far between. Like, think about how impactful CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre was, because we hadn't seen violence like that in a really, really long time. Now, if we see it every other week, then all of a sudden those matches and those moments no longer feel that special. In terms of like what I'm personally looking forward to is no commercials. If that is the case, the ability for them to tell a 3-hour story maybe in 2.5 hours because of the removal of commercials, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a easier, better flowing TV show as opposed to having all of the start stops of commercials. Again, we don't know if it's going to have commercials or not. That's just my wishful thinking. ¿Cuáles son tus equipos favoritos de otros deportes? Fútbol, béisbol, básquet. Mi equipo favorito de fútbol es un equipo colombiano que se llama Atlético Nacional. De béisbol es los Blue Jays de Toronto, y de básquet son los Raptors de Toronto. If this is your first time finding out that I speak Spanish, hola. With them teasing Seth versus Punk for WrestleMania, do you think that they add the world title to this? Drew versus Punk didn't need it, but do you think that this does to maybe help it get to the main event spot? Do I think that this needs the world title? The answer is no. Clearly it doesn't. We saw it with Drew and Punk. It doesn't need it. But would it benefit from having the title, and would that benefit of having the title help elevate it to something that could get the night one main event of WrestleMania? Absolutely, 100% that is the case. I don't know that the title will be involved because it doesn't need it. But if they're dead set on making sure that this becomes a WrestleMania main event spot match, then I do think it needs the title. Today's episode is brought to you by Turtle Beach, the #1 brand in gaming headsets and accessories. Their new Gen 3 Stealth 600 headset picks up so much crystal clear sound that I swear I heard a guy scratch his nuts on the other side of the map. You'll hear every footstep, every reload, every enemy sneaking up on you like they're stomping through your living room in tap dancing shoes, everything. Legitimately, they've been my go-to headset for gaming dating as far back as like 2009 in the MW2 days, but they're also my go-to for working and editing and long streaming sessions. Not just because of their high quality of sound, but their overall comfort. To me specifically, considering this is my job, that's incredibly important to have the headset feel like a soft pillow around your head. What's also nice is Turtle Beach has the Stealth 600 model, these bad boys right here, which are for PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, including cross compatibility and Bluetooth. So that means one headset for all of your systems. So I can easily go from working on my PC, doing some boring editing, to ripping on my PS5 if I wanted to. They're also like the only wireless headsets that I've used that doesn't die after 12 hours. These bad boys right here, the Stealth 600s, they go up to like 80 hours. Whether you're a casual gamer or you're one of those fellas that hasn't touched grass in weeks, Turtle Beach is the right headset for you. So folks, get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today. For a limited time only, head to turtlebeach.com and use code Santi for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off of your entire order when you use code Santi at turtlebeach.com. Thank you to Turtle Beach for sponsoring this video. Now back to the video. What is one album you think everyone should listen to at least once? I don't really follow music all that much. Like, I just like individual songs. All right, here's one. Listen to the entire Fallout 3 soundtrack. That's what you want to listen to, all right? Just a bunch of 50s music. It's awesome. Who do you think will give Cena his best feud next year? And who do you think, if not Randy, retires him? Look, I feel like the person that could give him the best feud is also somebody that could potentially retire him. I'm talking about Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre has elevated his game so much just over the last 10 months to the point where this man is going toe-to-toe on the microphone against CM Punk. Any other year, and Drew McIntyre gets obliterated by CM Punk on the microphone. And that's been kind of the problem with recent Cena feuds, that Cena is just too damn good on the mic and absolutely destroys his opponent on the mic. Ask Solo Sikoa, ask Austin Theory. If you put Drew McIntyre in there across from Cena, not only is he a formidable in-ring opponent, not only is he a great heel at the moment, but he is somebody that has demonstrated that can stand toe-to-toe with the likes of Cena on the mic. So would I want to see that feud? Absolutely. On top of that, I feel like Drew McIntyre is a big enough star to maybe even be the one to carry the burden to be the one to finally retire John Cena. Again, if not Randy Orton. Any tips on how to succeed in college, as it's my first year in college? Go to the gym, all right? It's really easy to get out of shape. It's easy to get fat. There's something that they call the freshman 15. If you're not careful, it can turn into the freshman 30. I can't help you in your academics. Can't help you with your social life. Just go to the gym. It'll help you in just about every aspect of your life. When did your love for Dominic Mysterio begin? Oh, it started during his feud with Rey Mysterio, because I would just start like insulting Rey Mysterio as a meme, as a joke. I would call him a deadbeat alongside Dominic Mysterio whenever Dominic would call him that. And then people in the comments of my TikToks just couldn't tell that I was clearly playing a character, that I was memeing. So I just like really dove into it, and to the point where I think I just made myself believe that Dominic Mysterio is the greatest of all time. But it started as a meme. It's still a meme, but now I actually do love Dominic Mysterio. WWE reaches out to have you interview one superstar of your choice. Who are you interviewing? Based on his recent interviews, we just talked about him, Dominic Mysterio. The dude just sounds like he'd be a hilarious time for just a 20-minute conversation. Will a midcard title ever main event WrestleMania? That's an awesome question. I feel like a midcard title can have a storyline and a match worthy of main eventing WrestleMania. Will it main event WrestleMania? I would say probably not. I feel like if there is a good enough story and a good enough feud to give to a mid-card title to make it good enough to main event WrestleMania, I feel like WWE is just going to give that feud, that story, and all of the whatever that would have happened for that mid-card title, and they just give it to the world title. I just don't see it ever happening. Are you playing the new Dragon Ball Sparking Zero? If so, who are you maining? Bro, I'm just trying to understand and learn that game. The game is so much fun, but it's so fucking hard. Moment of the wrestling year. I mean, it's got to be that like 5-minute sequence of crazy returns and shocks during Bloodline Rules at WrestleMania 40. The Undertaker gong. Jey Uso coming out to stop Jimmy. Obviously, Cena coming out. What we thought was going to be the entire Shield reunion. Just all of that happening at WrestleMania 40. That's the moment of the year. Favorite Hell in a Cell match of all time. Might be a little bit of recency bias, but I gotta go to CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. I loved how gruesome and brutal and good that match was, on top of it being carried by one of the best stories and feuds that I've seen in professional wrestling in a really long time. It truly is the entire package. Why do you hate the Heritage Cup? I hate the Heritage Cup matches because of the start-stop nature of the 2-minute rounds. It just doesn't give matches the opportunity to have the build-up and the wind-up to the climax that we're traditionally accustomed to. I just hate how whenever it starts to get good, the bell rings and then we have to basically start at the bottom and try and climb back up for 2 minutes. Just all in all, I've never seen a Heritage Cup match that I'm like, wow, oh my God, I can't wait to share this with people. This was so good. It can be fun, it can be good, but I would have most likely preferred it if it was just a regular match. All right, folks, thanks so much for submitting in your questions for this month. We'll see you next month, but we'll also see you tomorrow because we upload daily wrestling videos. That's what we do here. Okay, bye. Okay, get out of here.